Good afternoon, Robert Scribbler. It is July 24th, 2018. Thank you for joining me for another climate change and clean energy video blog. Now for this segment, I am going to talk about how gobsmackingly hot it is over portions of the world presently as an ongoing heat wave still swelters many locations. And what I'm going to do right now is just look at the global temperature anomaly map and talk about a few features before I go through a more local rundown. So what we're looking at here is a map of departures from normal temperatures, or the 1979 to 2000 baseline, which is already hotter than normal baseline. If you look at the bar here, this is a degrees Celsius anomaly map, and so as you can see, as it gets into the yellows and reds and whites, it's hotter than average, and as it gets down into the blues, that's where it's cooler than average. And as you can see, for most of the middle latitudes of the northern and southern hemispheres, temperatures are above average for large regions, ranging from around 4 to 5 degrees Celsius above average to up to around 10 degrees Celsius above average in places like Japan, and ranging up to around 15 to possibly 20 degrees Celsius above average throughout North Africa and the Middle East and parts of Asia, and ranging from 5 to 10 degrees Celsius above average in the western US. Now these regions of the world are experiencing severe heat. I'm going to go ahead and just run the model here for you so you can see what's predicted. And as you can see, global temperatures are also above average in the model and ranging significantly above average in the northern hemisphere in some bursts of heat here. So I'm just going to halt the model here so you can see where it peaks out. And I am talking primarily about mid-latitude temperatures, but you notice a high anomaly here in Antarctica. It's Antarctic winter, so we're seeing a bit of polar amplification effect in this region. But for this segment, we're going to primarily talk about extreme heat in the middle latitudes, particularly in the northern hemisphere. So I'm going to go over and flip to the direct temperature map so you can see how hot it is. Now, if you're looking at areas where it's white, that's in the 40s to 50 degrees Celsius range, and that's basically about 104 degrees to 115, 120 degrees in the most extreme instances. And I'm just going to go ahead and scroll through this so you can see areas. I'll just go ahead and hit play. You can see areas where the white lights up. And you can see parts of Japan, parts of China, desert regions of Mongolia, parts of Africa, and the southwestern and central southern United States as this band of heat flares with peak heating of the day in the forecast. And there's high flaring in the Persian Gulf region and in Africa. Now we're going to go ahead and drill down and look at some extreme temperatures. So in Texas yesterday, Waco set an all-time high, record high of 114 degrees Fahrenheit. Presently, Texas, over the past week, Texas has experienced extreme heat and many severe heat advisories, with a number of heat injuries reported in Texas. It looks like the heat might be breaking today in Texas, but it is heading west. And I'm going to go ahead and shift here to the Phoenix, Arizona National Weather Service site, which is showing 114 degree readings predicted for today in Phoenix. And as you note here in Lake Havasu and Parker and Blythe, you're looking at 116 to 120 degree temperature ranges. And El Centro 119, Eagle Mountain 117. So these are very, very hot temperatures predicted for the Phoenix area. Now, shifting over to the west coast, we also see very hot temperatures in Southern California, with temperatures in the near San Diego region in the hills, ranging from 101 to 111. And as you get further out into the Palm Springs area, the temperatures for today are predicted to be 121 to 123. So just insane. Now, I'm going to go ahead and shift on to some news regarding Japan. Japan has just recently experienced a combination of extreme rainfall, which has flipped hard to extreme heat and humidity. And the situation is such that numerous people have now died due to heat in Japan, with a total of 65 deaths now recorded according to this BBC report. And I'd like to note that the number of deaths are less than 100. The number of people suffering from heat injury is extraordinary. An estimated 22,000 people have taken to the hospital due to heat stroke over the recent heat wave. And as we said before, on Monday, the city of Kumagaya recorded a temperature of 41.1 degrees Celsius or 106 degrees Fahrenheit, which was the highest ever recorded temperature for Japan. Now, according to yesterday's World Meteorological Organization site, temperatures in Japan were very hot, ranging in the upper 30s, and that's degrees Celsius, so upper 90s and into the lower to middle 100s for large regions of Japan. Now, presently, the Earth, the Northern Hemisphere, is experiencing a global heat wave, and these are just some of the highlights. And unfortunately, this heat wave is expected to continue to flare in a number of vulnerable regions for the coming weeks, particularly the U.S., Southwest, Japan, the Middle East, into North Africa, and possibly building back toward the central U.S. a bit, although a deep trough is expected to dig into the eastern U.S., which should spare the eastern U.S. from the extreme heat, although the eastern U.S. is under the gun for extreme heavy rainfall. So, an overall summary of the present global heat wave that is now ongoing. Thank you for joining me, and I'd just like to mention, yes, heat waves are an indicator of human-caused climate change, particularly when heat waves result in new records being set day after day, as they have been in the present record. So thank you for joining me, and I'll be looking forward to chatting with you soon.